Hey guys, this is All Stream That, and today I am going to be doing a reaction video on a short film called Wrestling Isn't Wrestling. I am a huge wrestling fan. I've heard about this. I have seen it once a long time ago, but I really don't remember that much about it other than it follows the career of Triple H and kind of helps you understand everything about it and why people like wrestling so much. So let's go ahead and get right into it. It's the Mythbusters.
Right?
Yeah, I know it's fake.
More real than any other TV show, WWE Raw features live death-defying stunts performed in front of an audience of thousands every week. People who feel the need to tell you that wrestling isn't real clearly don't watch wrestling, because the show features an undead wizard, leprechauns, an evil group of male cheerleaders. This show does not pretend to be an athletic competition. Instead, it's a TV show about a wrestling show. It has more in common with Game of Thrones than it does with UFC.
Right.
And if you follow one character all the way through, you can see that this format allows the telling of interesting, diverse, and compelling stories. And there is no better place to start than with probably my favorite wrestler, Triple H.
Right. Okay, Chapter 1, Sex and Money.
The character Hunter Hearst Helmsley is introduced in the mid-90s. Basically this snobby Connecticut blue blood character. He's from the super rich family. Someone who his whole life has just been told, like, you're the best, you're the best. And for reasons we don't really understand, he's decided to become a professional wrestler. So like this fancy, pretentious guy rolls up his sleeves and he gets in there and... For a while, Hunter Hearst Helmsley is just getting his ass kicked week in, week out.
Right. So I remember that. I really liked him when he came in. Basically, what had happened was he was in WCW as Jean-Paul Levesque, and Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels, and Scott Hall saw him. They used to watch WCW and pretty much laugh at people, but they really, really liked this guy, and so they talked to Vince and they got him brought over, and it was the best thing that happened. It set off a lot of things, and I really didn't mind the character of Hunter Hearst Helmsley when he first came in. I was glad that he was losing, because it was a character that, I understood the character, but I hated the character because I understood it.
Around the same time, a guy named Shawn Michaels is on the top of the mountain.
Yep.
He's a main eventer. He's challenging for the heavyweight title. He's kind of an effeminate male stripper, gyrating, pretty boy, weirdo. He and Triple H kind of become friends. Triple H is a lower level guy, Shawn Michaels is a higher level guy, and Shawn Michaels is like, my hair, oh my god, Triple H, my hair. And then Triple H is like, my hair too, I'm pretty, I could be pretty. Now at this point, wrestling is basically like wrestling is always portrayed. So you have these like big cartoony muscle guys and they go, I'm from America and I'm American, and then a guy comes and he says, I'm the Russian guy. And wrestling was basically a Saturday morning cartoon.
It was.
You see, this is where Shawn Michaels and Triple H come in. Shawn Michaels goes to Triple H and says, I have a plan to get us both noticed. Are you ready? And it's a crazy fucking plan. They get this big boom woman called China, and they pop out like, oh, suck it, suck my dick. Yeah, what up? Wrestling's R-rated now. Titty dick, suck a vagina. And these two guys are going crazy on live television. Ooh, look at my butt. My butt can talk. Ooh, I'm gonna take out my balls and see what happens. There hadn't been characters like this. So the show completely changed.
The show did change. A lot of the people backstage didn't really like it. One in particular, if I remember right, was Bret Hart. He really didn't like the direction that things were going, and he actually did have problems with Shawn Michaels and with Triple H both, because they were the ones pushing for that change.
Suddenly all the kids watching it were like,
Suck it! They're
That's Seth Green and Macaulay Culkin. That's great. They actually got him in there.
talking about sucking dicks right on TV! I want to say suck it to all of my friends. $5 for the Dick Sucker t-shirt, please!
That's great.
So these two idiot douchebags run afoul of Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Stone Cold beats the ever-living shit out of Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels disappears.
Yep.
Oh, my neck hurt, and my back hurt. And for the first time, Triple H is alone at the top of the card. This is my time. I can do this. I didn't need Shawn Michaels. He was holding me back. I can become World Heavyweight Champion. Wrong. Mistake. You see, Triple H is doing this right at the time that wrestling is filled with some of its most memorable characters.
Right.
Guys like The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mankind, Chris Jericho, the biggest ass kickers of a generation. Triple H is buried under a pile of people who are better than him. He needs to figure out a way to change the game. Because even though he's like a vicious psychopath, he's not quite as tough as the really tough guys. I think it's fair to describe him as a B-plus player.
That's cold. That's exactly what he'd call Daniel Bryan. Is a B-plus player, just not quite there. But yeah, I mean, he was there trying to get to the top when you had guys like The Rock and Steve Austin, Mick Foley, Chris Jericho, and he had to do something. You know, he really did. And if he didn't, who knows where he would be and who knows where the company would be. They really didn't need him at the top. But he basically made them need him at the top.
So what does he do? He finds a bunch of losers. He finds them on the side of the road, and they're just idiots. I'm Billy Gunn. I'm Mr. Ass. My thing is, I have a butt. I'm the Road Dogg. My thing is, I spell my name. And I'm X-Pac. My thing is, I'm X-Pac.
I love it. Jeez.
Triple H is like, great. You guys seem great. In fact, why don't you all be in D-Generation X with me? The guys are like, titty, dick, sucker, vagina. We love D-Generation X. Triple H is like, yeah, you're my bodyguards now. He builds an army. He's turned what was a friggin' movement in wrestling into a group of stormtroopers who he pushes in front of him whenever a real fight comes around. But having an army isn't enough. To really secure a kingdom, you have to get the princess. So he gets Stephanie McMahon, the daughter of the owner of the company, kidnaps her, drugs her, and marries her while she's passed out. How do you marry someone without their consent? Shouldn't he go to jail for kidnapping a woman?
He should.
And drugging her?
Yes.
These are questions that you don't have to ask, because wrestling isn't real.
Exactly. Wrestling is not real. We are very aware of that as fans. But because it's not real, you don't need to ask those questions. It doesn't have to make perfect sense. And they don't handle their things like that. They handle it in the ring.
Triple H repeatedly wins the title off guys who could kick his ass. The thing is, whenever people are about to beat him for the title, you've got this group of putties from Power Rangers and DX shirts jumping on the side of the ring, and if that doesn't work, he'll poke you in the eye or kick you in the balls or bully the referee. And if that doesn't work, Triple H hits you in the face with a sledgehammer.
That's right.
Triple H is like, but DX, you all suck it, right? The audience is like,
No! We hate you!
Triple H is like, why? They're like,
Because you're a coward and you can't fight for yourself!
Triple H is
Pretty
like,
much.
but I got a sledgehammer. The audience is like,
Shouldn't you be in prison for hitting someone with a sledgehammer?
Triple H is like, I'm the best at wrestling. The audience is like,
Get the tomato!
Oh, that's great. I love it.
Triple H is so paranoid about his own guys that he takes them out one by one. and allies with Stephanie McMahon.
Yep.
Triple H is like, but I kidnapped you. You love me now? She's like, yeah, man, I've been super evil the whole time, basically. He's like, no way, that's awesome.
DX is dead, but Triple H is now a corporate champion at the top of the company. What's important to remember here is that the way this guy originally got power was by saying, fuck you to authority.
And now he
But he's
is
so
the
scared
authority.
of using that title. Now he's got it and he won't let go. In Triple H's mind, this object is everything that he isn't. He wants that power. He wants people to cheer him. He wants them to know he is the best. But he isn't.
Not by a long shot. No, he was definitely not the best. There were a lot of people better than him. He was just in a better position than they were.
Triple H is now being pursued by dozens of guys. Everyone's trying to make a name for themselves by taking out the champion. So Triple H does what he does best, builds an insulating shell around himself. He finds this
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair. His skin is basically leather. He's a disgusting old goober who yells woo. He's awesome. Just trust me, he's awesome. Sometimes when you describe something in wrestling, it doesn't sound awesome, but then when you see it, it's fuck it, it's Ric Flair.
Right.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Then Triple H scouts
It's
out
Ric
this
Flair.
total lunatic, snake-like psycho named Randy Orton. I'm a fucking snake. I like to hurt old people. Harry Potter. Triple H is like, this seems like a guy I could trust.
Right.
The final brick in the wall is Batista, a ripped ass kicker who's more brawn than brains, and Triple H can order to destroy almost anyone on the roster. And for nearly 3 years, Triple H holds on to that title like Gollum with the fucking ring. He can't let it go. Because if you are about to pin Triple H, surprise, there's Ric Flair. Oh, turn around, it's Randy Orton. And then if you get through them, Batista will throw you off the surface of the earth and into space, and you'll hit the moon, you go through the moon, you go to space and die. That's real, that happened.
Not in wrestling, it didn't.
From the beginning of this group, called Evolution, there are little cracks. Randy Orton is a crazy person. Batista has a serious rage problem.
Right?
And Ric Flair is old as fuck. And things get real hard when Shawn Michaels comes back.
Yep.
Hey, Triple H, it's me, Shawn Michaels. So happy to see you. Oh my God. Triple H is like, so happy to see you. I'm gonna fucking kill you. Get the fuck out of here. I'm in charge now. I'm important. Someone tell me I'm important. Someone tell me I'm as good as Shawn Michaels. For the better part of a year, Triple H beats the fuck out of Shawn Michaels, who's going for his title. And this is where things get really interesting. You know how I told you Triple H has this inferiority complex? Well, there's this guy shows up. This little Canadian.
Chris Benoit.
This guy is not a main eventer like Triple H and Shawn Michaels, but he wins a shot at the championship.
Yep.
Triple H can't believe this. Ignore him. When the time comes for our big match, Shawn Michaels, it's gonna be you and me. This is destiny. Shawn Michaels is like, I mean, he did win the title shot. Triple
He
H
did.
is like, but he's a little guy and we're big and strong. At WrestleMania, Triple H's obsession with trying to beat Shawn Michaels costs him the title to Chris Benoit. And Triple H, try as he might, can't get the title back. But you know who beats Chris Benoit? Randy Orton.
Yep. That was great. I loved that story.
Hey, Randy's so cool that you won the title, and I mentored you, and I helped you, and now you're gonna be champion. I'm gonna fucking kill you! I'm the best! Give me that title! Triple H wins the title back from Randy Orton, and it's at about this time that Batista wins a shot for the title.
Right.
Triple H is like, hey, Batista, hey, buddy, you don't want to take a shot at the title, man. Why you take a shot at the title with me? We're best friends. We're such good friends, Batista. Batista's like, you know, I watched this show, and it seems like whenever you are nervous about someone taking the title, you turn on people. You turn on your best friend. You had me beat up Randy Orton. I feel like you're probably going to turn on me soon. Triple H is like, no, what? But this is crazy. This is silly. Let's kill him. Oh, shit. Batista one-ups Triple H, takes
Right.
that title, rises to the top of the card. Old man Ric Flair has a conversation with Triple H where Triple H is basically like, Batista's not better than me because he beat me. Randy Orton's not better than me because he beat the guy I couldn't beat. And Shawn Michaels isn't better than me because Ric Flair, say something. Tell me I'm good. Ric Flair is like, peace, dude. This is weird. Triple H is like, audience, tell me I'm good. What do I need to do to make you love me? The audience says, well, we don't like John Cena.
Pretty much nobody likes John Cena. So he is absolutely right.
John Cena is a newer character at this time. He's basically Superman, and people hate him for all the reasons people hate Superman. He's bland. He wins all the time. He's just a goody two-shoes. The character never changes. He always does the same thing. He shrugs off beatdowns and smiles and laughs about it. He takes all of the stakes out of everything because he never fucking loses.
Pretty much.
Triple H says, well, I do have a sledgehammer. Triple H comes out like, hey, John Cena, you suck. I'm the best, right? Audience, tell me I'm better than Shawn Michaels. They're like, well, beat John Cena, we'll think about it.
Right.
Triple H goes after Cena and he loses. Then Triple H and Shawn Michaels end up going after Cena at the same time, and they both lose. You can't beat Superman.
Nope.
But them hanging out a little bit makes Triple H like, hey, Shawn Michaels, we're both like older and like way more mature. And Shawn Michaels is like, yeah. Triple H is like, maybe like together we could be best friends again and like do it where we do the DX again. Shawn Michaels is like, I'm 45 years old. Triple H is like, yeah, but we're best friends. So out they come, but wrestling is rated PG now, which means they jump out like, poopy caca, fart fart, check out our boogers, we're Degeneration X. DX is riding high.
Yeah,
Triple H
but
is
it didn't
having
really
this moment
work.
where people are cheering for him, and that's when Shawn Michaels gets bored. You see, Shawn Michaels is reaching near the end of his career. He
Right.
wants to do something no one else has ever done, and that's beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
At that time, nobody had beaten The Undertaker at WrestleMania, and he was probably the first one that I thought even had a shot at actually beating The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
I see your face. Who is The Undertaker? Well, hold on to your suspension of disbelief, because it's about to take a fucking beat.
He's here. I like turtles.
The Undertaker is a wizard, a satanic magician, and no, I don't know why he's a wrestler. He was part of this cult when he was a little kid. They sacrificed his 3 little girls. Now he's got this creepy guy, Paul, with him. He has this intense relationship with his demon brother, Kane. It's all pretty fucking insane. And add to that, he commands a cult of hundreds of hooded figures.
You know it's fake.
David Arquette.
What matters is that Undertaker has never been defeated at WrestleMania. Shawn Michaels is like, I think I can beat him. He couldn't. Shawn Michaels is like, damn it, I feel like I could really beat him if I just had one more chance, you know?
Right.
Undertaker says, hey. Undertaker says, I will give you another match at next year's WrestleMania, but only if when you lose, you retire from wrestling forever. Shawn Michaels is like, I don't know if I should do that. What do you think, Triple H? Triple H is like, no, it would be so terrible if you left and never came back. That would be the worst. Oh my God. You should do it. You should do it. Why don't you do it? Don't be a pussy. You should do it. Do it, Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels is like, okay, sure. So Shawn Michaels loses to The Undertaker, is permanently retired. Aw, poor Shawn Michaels.
It's my time, and my dick fell off. Don't get it wrong, that don't make me soft. It's my time, drinking champagne, baby.
Oh, boo-hoo, Shawn! You're gonna feel real stupid when I beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I'm wasted! Bad! An important thing to remember about Triple H is that he views himself, when he looks in the mirror, as this warrior knight, Conan destroyer, super badass, unstoppable guy. The fact that he's actually an insecure, cheating, undercutting, manipulative coward, he's kind of blind to. He can't see it. And that's why when The Undertaker beats him, all Triple H can think about is, but I still got some good hits in though, right? And everyone's like, sort of.
Hey, stop acting like you beat me.
Yeah, but I kinda did, sort of.
No, you didn't. Yeah, but I hit you a bunch of times. That's not how wrestling works. You can't win, just you lost. Admit that you lost.
No.
Fight me again then.
No.
You're not as good as Shawn Michaels.
Oh.
Bitch, I will fight you anywhere. I will fight you on the moon.
It's gonna be a Hell in the Cell match where I'm allowed to use any weapon I want. My sledgehammer. And the referee is gonna be, my best friend, Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels is like, chill it on the best friend. You chill it on the best friend. Triple H is like, you're my best friend. And with Shawn Michaels as the guest referee, access to any weapon he wants in a match that he chose, Triple H loses to The Undertaker. This is the end of an era. Triple H is so beaten up at the end of his match that he, Shawn Michaels, and The Undertaker walk out together in what should be a beautiful moment, the end of 3 careers. Instead,
It's my time.
Triple H uses the fact that he's married to the daughter of the owner of the company to secure a corporate position. That's right, the rebel, the barbarian ass kicker, the guy who could never be tamed. I am the ultimate destroyer, the one true diamond in this industry. I'm also a suit. I'm here to tell you that my wife says that you're all in big trouble. But this is almost the perfect position for him. No longer an active wrestler, Triple H is closer to the title than he'd be holding. See, he gets to choose who fights for it. And Triple H is so insecure and so obsessed with this title that he is constantly interfering with real wrestlers because he can't let it go.
Right.
He never proved that he was good enough. So I'll tell you one last story. And it's about a guy named Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan was a really good story. I actually enjoyed it. I liked the time between SummerSlam and WrestleMania when he was chasing the title after he got screwed out of it at the end of SummerSlam. And just everything about that whole right around 6 months was just amazing. I liked how they did it. I liked just the slowness of it, and that they didn't just push him right back into it. And it was just it was a really good slow build to him actually getting the title, and the way that he got it was amazing too. I mean, he had to do a lot just to get it.
Daniel Bryan was this little scrappy, weird, vegan, sort of like almost hipster gnome. He yells the word yes. People fucking love him. They love him so much. And you know what? I don't blame them. There's something great about Daniel Bryan. He's not the best actor, but sometimes in wrestling that doesn't matter. When you have enough heart and a weird enough face, you can reach the top of this industry. The fact that Daniel Bryan is competing against guys like Randy Orton, Triple H's former protege, and Batista, another Triple H creation, pisses Triple H off. Because when Triple H sees Daniel Bryan, he sees a guy who isn't good enough.
Right.
When Triple H sees Daniel Bryan, he sees Triple H. Get the fuck out of here! You are not a commercial champion. You're an ugly little gnome, and I hate you, and you'll never get a title match. Triple H ends up repeatedly interfering in this guy's career, trying to shut him down.
He does. Yep.
This is bullshit! Get the bricks!
He says, okay, you know what? At WrestleMania right now, the main event is Batista versus Randy Orton. But if you can beat me, the Game, the King of Kings, the ass kicker at WrestleMania, Daniel Bryan, you can be in the main event. You'll have to beat the 3 toughest guys in the company in one night. So fuck you. And Daniel Bryan does it. He beats Triple H real easy, then beats Orton and Batista. And an audience of 20,000 people yells, yes, 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 as Triple H responds by crying on the floor. The story goes on. That's the thing about wrestling. It doesn't end.
Right.
But that's the thing about life, too. And yeah, I left stuff out, but you don't remember everything. Humans crave melodrama. They crave fiction. When you're sitting alone and texting, it's because you're bored. Our imagination is our greatest gift and our greatest curse because we're bored all the time. And that's what fiction does for us. It gives us a sort of simulator for bigger stories and bigger emotions. That's what Lord of the Rings is. That's what Phantom of the Opera is. That's what Goodfellas is. That's everything. It's us watching and feeling. The human capacity for empathy through imagination. That's why we have stories. Triple H is a great character.
Yes.
Told over 2 decades. A snob who had a chip on his shoulder that he could never let go. And just wanted to be the best. But never could be that without cheating. Finally selling out to the point that if he can't be the champion, he'll choose the champion.
Right.
And that's what you need, man. That's what we all want. From Long John Silver to Perseus to Neo to Walter White. We love watching people grow, change, struggle. Good people, bad people, we don't care. We want to see it, man. We need entertainment and we need it now. And when you watch wrestling, that's what you get. Now don't get me wrong, a lot of wrestling sucks.
Yep.
But when it's good, it's fucking great. Wrestling is melodrama. Wrestling is mythology. Wrestling is action. Wrestling is comic books. The only thing wrestling isn't is wrestling.
So that was Wrestling Isn't Wrestling. I hadn't seen that for quite a while. It's really a, I really believe that. I believe that it is, that it is everything kind of all wrapped up together. It's, it's comedy, it's action, it's drama, it's everything just all wrapped up into one, and it's a never-ending story. There's characters that come and go, but you can follow a character like Triple H from the beginning to the end of his career, and it coincides with all these others, and they all affect each other. I don't think anybody has had as much effect on the industry with their character and also with what they do after wrestling as Triple H has done. With NXT and being a corporate suit now, it's just it's amazing what he's doing, and he couldn't have done that had Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon and Kevin Nash not seen him on WCW as Jean-Paul Levesque and convinced Vince McMahon to bring him over. I think that was something that was really huge, and I think had they not got him, I don't think that the Attitude Era would have had as much impact. I mean, yeah, you had The Rock, you had Stone Cold Steve Austin, but you wouldn't have had Triple H, you wouldn't have had DX, and it wouldn't have been the same. It would have been completely and totally different. But that's going to end our episode for today. I want to thank you for watching. My name is I'll Stream That. Hit that like and subscribe button, and ring the bell for notifications.